Yo, what is going on, guys? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Hart, and today I'll be breaking down the Thursday night football slates we have here on DraftKings between the Packers and the Titans. I'll be going through my favorite captain plays, my favorite flex plays, and some low, cheap guys we can put into our lineup to help us fit in those studs. So once again, if you're new to the channel or you're a recurring viewer, hit that like button as it does really help out my channel. Turn on the notification bell, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the slate breakdown. Starting off this breakdown, we're going to go to the Tennessee side. Starting off, we have Derrick Henry at 11.6K. I think that's just a fair price for him. I think there is an argument to be made that you could definitely fade him. You know, if they get down by 2 touchdowns, let's say, they could definitely phase him out of the offense. And as you saw versus Denver, pretty good run defense. Didn't do much. You know, he's pretty touchdown dependent. He was scoring all their touchdowns since week 7. He was their whole offense. As we know with Derrick Henry, he's pretty much the whole offense. So there's you could definitely fade him. You know, the Packers defense, especially at home, it's gonna be very cold. You know, you can make that argument. I don't love it, but you could definitely make that argument. But I think he makes for obviously very solid captain play, very safe flex play. But you can make that argument to fade him in this game if you want to get a little bit different because he'll be super, super popular. Ryan Tannehill is just kind of there for me. Does have some upside, you know. Should go out there and get you around 13 to 15 fantasy points maybe if he throws a touchdown or two. That's kind of it. It just, you know, I guess he's an okay flex. You know, he does have that upside on this kind of slate to, you know, be the optimal captain, but I don't love it. Don't love that play there of Ryan Tannehill. Robert Woods, wide receiver 1 right now, saw 7 targets that last game, but his targets are kind of all over the place. I know Tannehill was out the past few games, so he was seeing, you know, about 5-6 targets with Tannehill in. So at 6,800, I think he makes for a decent flex play. He really hasn't flashed the upside with Tannehill to be like an optimal captain. Obviously, there's always that chance he could break off a huge one. But yeah, I think he's more as like a safe flex play for me. Westbrook Akine, I'm not going to chase that. You know, one of his touchdowns was a 63-yarder. Was it flea flicker? That was a flea flicker touchdown. So I don't really trust it. 6,200. I think it looks just like an okay play there. Before that, you know, he really wasn't too involved in the offense. Maybe they're looking to get him more involved. Who knows? But I think it's just more of a mirage getting to him. I'd rather pay down for a guy like Treylon Burks, 5,200. He was starting to build good rapport with Ryan Tannehill before he got injured. So now that he's back, I do like him a good amount. Do expect him to get involved. He saw 6 targets, 3 catches for 24 yards. So obviously when Tannehill's throwing on the ball, he's not going to be chucking it deep down the field. It's all going to be like intermediate or short passes. So I think Treylon Burks, that's where he thrives. He's more of that yards after catch kind of receiver. So 5,200, he's my favorite receiver on the Tennessee side. I think he does have a little bit more upside compared to the other 2 wide receivers when it comes to the captain spot. But I guess all 3 wide receivers are definitely in play for the flex and captain, but I prefer Treylon Burks, then Robert Woods, and then I guess Westbrook would be the third for me. For the tight ends for Tennessee, we got Austin Hooper as tight end 1. He was decent in that game versus Denver. Obviously 7 targets, 5 for 41 yards. He's always going to be a red zone threat for Tennessee, but they do like it to stuff in the ball with Derrick Henry. So I guess he's just kind of there for me. I'd say I'm not sure if he has enough upside for the optimal captain spot. I'd say he's more of a safe flex play. The defense, they're definitely in play. I don't mind getting to them. It should be a pretty cold game. Expect 2 teams that are not the best passing teams. They do like to run the ball a ton. So you could definitely throw in one of the defenses and hope they do decent. Whatever kicker plays is going to look like the best option. Josh Lambo off the practice squad because it looks like Bullock and let's just confirm. Yeah, Caleb are both going to be out. So it's looking like Josh Lambo will be that guy. I don't mind getting them. Kickers are always in play, especially in cold games like this. Hilliard, if you think Derrick Henry is going to be limited just because you think the Titans are going to be down in this game, look to Hilliard. He is the backup running back when it comes to them needing to pass the ball out of the backfield. As you can see, versus Indiana, for 18 yards, 4 or 5, 23 and a touchdown versus Washington. So he's their pass catching back. The first game, 3 or 4, 61 yards, 2 touchdowns versus the New York Giants. So he's definitely their pass catcher back out of the backfield. So if you want to fade Derrick Henry, go to him. Don't hate that. But once again, you're fading Derrick Henry, which is super, super risky. Okonkwo is the secondary tight end for Tennessee. He's seen a few targets. I guess you could take that dart throw on him. Don't love it. Don't hate that move. Haskins is kind of the third back right now. Not seeing much action. Hollister is that fourth wide receiver, but really don't think you need to force it. And then Jeff Swain is just more of that passing, or not, excuse me, the running, the tight end that run blocks. Sorry, I'm all over the place. But yeah, I think my favorite plays on this side are going to be Treylon Burks and obviously Derrick Henry. And I think it'd be, the third one would be Robert Woods. On to the Green Bay side. So for Green Bay, we have Aaron Jones at the top, 11-2. We know what we're going to get from Aaron Jones. He should see, around 15-ish touches. Should see a couple passes out of the backfield. Now, if they're struggling throwing the ball to the other wide receivers, Aaron Jones is that candidate to step up. Only saw one game versus Washington where he saw 10 targets, but he does have that upside there. So he's always in play. I think he makes for a very safe flex play. I think he looks like a very solid captain. I'm assuming he'll be the favorite captain to play on the slate today alongside Derrick Henry. And for that reason, I love Aaron Rodgers as my captain play. Now, he does have a pretty low floor, as we can see, 5, 12. But he's really kind of caught on a little bit, at least in terms of that last game versus Dallas. 14-20, didn't throw the ball a ton, but threw for 3 touchdowns, very efficient, 146 passer rating. I just really like the fact that it's a cold game in Green Bay. Aaron Rodgers knows how to handle these type of games. He got a running team on the other side of the ball coming in, so it's not like the Titans are going to go out and throw for 4 touchdowns and just absolutely run the Packers out of their own stadium. Really like the fact that Aaron Rodgers is one of the best quarterbacks ever. Great game manager, so I do like the upside there in Rodgers. He could throw for a good amount of touchdowns. If they get to the red zone, he could throw for 3-4 touchdowns with only 30 passing attempts. That's how efficient he is. So I really like the upside there for Aaron Rodgers to get a little bit different from those 2 chalky running backs. So he's going to be my favorite captain play for tonight. Oops. And the reason why I like that as well is because if, the other wide receivers are struggling, you can have Aaron Jones as a flex play because, he has that upside as rushing as well as pass catching. Lazard, I think he looks very solid. Depending on how the ownership plays out, I do think he might be a better play than Christian Watson. Everyone's going to see the 4 catches, 8 targets, 3 touchdowns for 107 yards and kind of flock to that and assume he's going to be wide receiver 1. But Allen Lazard has been banged up. Before that, he was seeing close to 8-9 targets a game. So I really like the safe play there with Allen Lazard. I do think you can go to Allen Lazard as a captain play as well. But yeah, I really love Rodgers in the captain play. I think Lazard makes it a solid captain. You can definitely put Christian Watson in the captain and, hope he has another game like that. I don't think it's going to happen. Who knows? But I think Lazard or Watson would be more of a safer flex play for me. Not as good as an optimal captain play like Lazard would be, who has that rapport with Aaron Rodgers. Coming off a bad game, do expect him to get involved in this game tonight. A.J. Dillon, I think it's the kind of the same situation as Derrick Henry. You can make the argument. I think it's a little bit worse argument to make when it comes to fading Aaron Jones and playing A.J. Dillon instead. But as we saw at the beginning of the season, they were splitting about 55-45, 60-40, and now it's kind of ballooned to 70-30 in favor of Aaron Jones over A.J. Dillon. As we saw, still 11 touches, 34 yards versus Detroit. He can get some catches out of the backfield, 13 for 65 against Dallas. So he just looks okay. There's a flex. Sure, you could put him in there and fade Aaron Jones. Don't love that just because of how involved Aaron Jones is with the offense. But, it could be one of those games where things get a little weird. Aaron Jones, is not doing well, or maybe he gets dinged up, and then A.J. Dillon kind of is that lead back. So you could definitely go that route. Don't love it, but you can definitely make that argument. TONYAN, just kind of there for me. With all their pass catchers back, you could get super risky and throw TONYAN into the optimal captain. He's gotten 19 before, but that's really it. I just don't think he's involved enough. Sure, he can have one of those games, 2-3 touchdowns, I think, in the red zone randomly, but it's not looking like the best play there at 5,800 for TONYAN. Watkins, wide receiver 3 behind Lazard and Watson. Saw 3 targets for 47 yards. I think he's a very risky play here, even at 4,800, because where is he? Randall COBB is back for tonight, so we'll talk about that in a second. But yeah, I think that makes Watkins as a third wide receiver very risky. CROSBY looks like a decent value play. Really hasn't flashed an upside since week 5 versus the Giants, but they're always in play on these showdown slates, so I do like them in these cold games a good amount. Packers defense, I think, like the Titans defense, are definitely in play. People are rather going to play the Titans defense because they've done better scoring-wise, and people like to box score watch, but I do think the Packers are always in play. And then for the backup tight ends, DeGuara, I just don't think you need to go there. Samori Toure, not really getting much run. Dubes is out still. Dobbs, whatever you want to call him. And then Randall COBB, he's activated. He should be good to go. Not sure if he'll be on a sort of like snap count. He's risky, I will say. Aaron Rodgers does like throwing him the ball. He was involved, closer to the end of the season or the middle of the season, as you can see, for against New England, 4 targets. Next game versus Giants, 13. So he could definitely have one of those games where he pops off. Aaron Rodgers throws him the ball a ton, but he's also kind of risky. But I love him for the salary relief. Now he could go out there, get 4 targets for 3 catches for 25 yards, and that's it. But at that salary, $200, I think that really allows you to put both Aaron Rodgers, Jones, and Henry into your lineup. So I do like the cost saving benefits for Randall COBB right now. And if you're going to play Aaron Rodgers as the captain, you're going to want at least 2 or 3 of his pass catchers. You could also put the Mason Crosby, the kicker, in there as well because they correlate with the offense. So I think the route I'm going to go is going to be with Aaron Rodgers at captain. Going to put COBB in there just because he does have some upside rapport with Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers talked about how he wants COBB back. He's now back. We'll have to see if there's a kind of a snap count on Randall COBB. If there is, depending on what it is, don't love it, even at that price, that cost-saving price. But we'll have to see. But yeah, going to start with Aaron Rodgers, Randall COBB. Just in this cold game, I do like Henry a little bit, and same with Treylon Burks. Leaves you with 8,700. You could throw a Lazard in there, 8,800 left over. You could throw Christian Watson, or let's see, you could throw an Aaron Jones, 6,200 left over. You could get to TONYAN. Don't hate that build. You could always, pay down, get super, different 2,200 off that you're leaving on the table. You can replace, Burks for Christian Watson. So then you got, 4-2 or 5-1, excuse me. So yeah, it just kind of depends on the route you want to go. But for right now, I think this is going to be the kind of the bones of the lineup of where I start. Aaron Rodgers, captain, Randall COBB, and then Aaron Jones, and then kind of go from there based on the Randall COBB news and maybe any other news we get for this slate tonight. So if you guys are new to the channel, hit that like button, subscribe. Do appreciate all the support, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.